Mickey Meehan for UCCS Athletics. I'm here with head women's basketball coach Lynn Plett. Now, coach, over this weekend you were in a win-to-get-in situation, played Colorado School of Mines. You fell to them 57-38. Now, looking back on the season, let's talk about some of your players. We already talked about your seniors from this year. Excuse me. But you have some juniors that much stepped up for you at the end of the season, closed out pretty strong. Those being Maddie Gabler and Chelsea Pearson. Comments on them?
Yeah, Maddie, especially the latter part of the season, about 2/3 of the way through the season, really picked up things on the offensive end and actually shot the ball a lot better. Her energy is always good there. She's always, a tough player, one of our tougher players from that standpoint. So it was good to see her get some positive reinforcement on the offensive end, which is, I think, a little bit of a struggle that she's had earlier in the year and last year as a sophomore. Chelsea went through a strict beginning of the year where didn't shoot the ball very well, and then had a streak where she shot it really well. Didn't quite. She'd probably admit she didn't shoot the ball very well in our last game, but nobody did. That was it. Was those two in particular are, I think, should be encouraged going into their senior year. And Kaylee is even though she's only been the second year here, she's actually going to be a senior next year too. Has been our defensive stopper, and just did a great job defensively. I don't know if there's any player anywhere that plays harder than she does minute for minute in the course of a game or practice for that matter. So those three are a good group to come back as seniors next year.
Sounds like you have a good leadership group for next year. Looking ahead, also, you have some young players. You got a good young core that's led by Tatum Talene, Abby Fikert, Ellie Johnson, Anna Davern. Comments on what you saw from them this season and what you're looking forward to next year?
Yeah, there are a lot of promise, I think, for the future for those players that you just mentioned. And unfortunately, every one that you mentioned had some kind of injury and were limited in their ability to play on a consistent basis all year long. So hopefully we'll get all those things healed up a little bit more this off season and be able to start there. But it's a great group, I think, of for the future that's looking to continually get better. Anna and Ellie showed a lot of promise inside and their ability to run the floor and do a lot of things. And I think they're going to continue to get more versatile with their size as well, which will help us. Abby obviously had a really good offensive year until she got hurt and missed almost half of the conference season. Tatum was just kind of on and off a little bit, and was struggling with some knee injuries and a foot injury that she had to kind of nurse throughout the whole season. And Maddie Gala was another one that just struggled a little bit on the defensive end once in a while, but her, without a doubt, she's the most consistent shooter that we have in practice. It's just I think she gets a little nervous during games and doesn't quite shoot the ball as well. So hopefully that experience that she's gotten in the last 2 years will calm her down a little bit too, and so everybody can see how good of a scorer that she potentially can be.
Definitely in a bit of a rebuild the past couple of seasons, so seeing that young talent going ahead is definitely leaving a bright spot, a bright future for your team. So let's comment on your season, what you thought about how the season went, what you're looking forward to next year.
We were picked 11th to pick 11th, and then we actually tied for, I guess you might say we tied for 7th or 6th, and then but because of the point system that the conference has on breaking tiebreakers and stuff too, we ended up not making it into the tournament from that standpoint. But I think from that standpoint, I think we overachieved a little bit from what some of the people thought initially what we might be this year. I think we would have done an awful lot better had we not had all the injuries and that type of thing that we had too. The other one I failed to mention earlier too is Madison Lord, who came here as a transfer, a 6'3" player who has a world of potential. Wasn't able to play this year too because of her injuries too. So add her to the mix, and I think again I can't see us not continuing to get better. And then with our freshman class, which may be as good, if not better, a freshman class that we've been able to recruit since we've been here, you put those in the mix too, and I think we're going to have still a fairly youthful team, fairly young team, but I think we've consistently picked up on the toughness and on the aggressiveness, and I think both Liz and I are really excited about next year from that standpoint. We'd love to get started right away, obviously, but we need to heal some of those injuries and work on some individual work and stuff too. But it's a great group to look forward to working with next year.
Well, Coach, obviously didn't get in like we wanted to, but there's always next year. It sounds like we got a bright future ahead of us with this team. I'm looking forward to what happens with this team next year. As always, thanks for joining us. Good luck. Enjoy the off season. Looking forward to next year. Fans, thanks for tuning in, and go Mountain Lions.